The last two surviving Doolittle Tokyo Raiders are honored during a special ceremony in the tri-state. It was one of two events in Ohio honoring the Doolittle Raiders and World War II veterans. Today marks the 73rd anniversary of the daring bombing attack on Japan. Local 12's Brad Underwood reports from the Tri-State Warbirds Museum in Batavia.
The B-25 bomber, a magnificent piece of American military history. It first flew before World War II, but was the first aircraft to carry out an offensive attack against the Japanese, a retaliation attack for Pearl Harbor known as the Doolittle Raids. Of the original 80 who flew in that mission, only 2 are still living. They were honored in Dayton at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and donated the Congressional Gold Medal to the Air Force Museum. In Batavia, one World War II veteran, Captain Louis Breckenridge, got to hitch a ride in a B-25 for the first time in 2 years.
They all stopped at Urbana, so there were about 20 of them there. So my son and I went up and we got to fly in one.
And how did this one compare?
About the same. I mean, just the thrill of it, but I'm getting a little older getting into the airplane. That's the biggest problem.
Captain Breckenridge flew the B-25 bomber in the European theater during World War II, attacking Germans near the Italian coast.
They use them for special ops. It was used for anti-shipping. There's 2 versions of it that have a big 75 millimeter gun in the nose that you could literally sink a destroyer with pretty easily. It was used for ground support, much like today's A-10.
We also got to log some miles in one of the heaviest and loudest aircraft ever made. This particular bomber was built in 1945. It's actually the youngest in air today. And while it never saw any combat time, it was used to train pilots. The B-25 could fit up to 6 soldiers for a mission with 50 cal guns on both sides, the top, nose, and tail of the plane.
You can never have more fun than flying a piece of history, and I think that's what makes it so special for both Paul and I.
And while the Doolittle raid caused minimal damage on the ground, it proved to be an important mission, boosting American morale, showing Japan was vulnerable in protecting its islands. In Batavia, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
Fascinating. In 2014, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill that would award the Doolittle Tokyo Raiders a Congressional Gold Medal. That medal will now be on display in Dayton.